good, and I thought that was going to be just an incredible football game. But C.J. Stroud truly spoiled the fun. I mean, he was awful. 20 of 47 passing, and they turned the ball over a bunch. Like, what? He had 4 interceptions, I think. I mean, the Patriots are a good team. Max will tell you they're still a piece away, I think. But it just was never a fun game. The Bears game, I had a blast with. I was pulling for the Bears. I don't really have a rooting interest in this particular postseason, but the Bears seemed like the most fun story. And they had every opportunity, every chance to go win that game, and they just didn't. That was, to me, the best game of the day. Other than that, I thought Saturday was maybe a little bit more fun.
Mm-hmm. It was. I couldn't believe last night. A little TV insight here. I think that Bears game was ending like right at like 8:30, I believe, something like that. I was out on set recording Sports Sunday, so all I can see is about a screen that's about 2 inches wide in front of a TV in front of me. I'm like, that looks like that was a Cole Kmet touchdown. I wonder how much time is left, huh? And then my phone is blowing up. And my wife's at home watching the game. She said, "Did you just see that play? Did you just see the play that Caleb Williams made? There's no way that just happened." I was like, hold on. Let me dig into this. Let me open this thing up. And sure enough, there it is.
It's one of the best throws I've ever seen, that particular play.
Incredible stuff that we saw in that game. As you said, the Saturday games were also great. We'll dig into it. We'll talk a little bit more NFL football coming up later in the show. We have a national championship to get ready for this evening. As I said, Dylan Edwards, big news yesterday. He officially committed to KU after some speculation, after some rumors. We saw him on the official visit on Friday night against Baylor. Maybe KU winning by 20 in that game was the deciding factor for Dylan to want to go be a Jayhawk in that game. We see the Shockers on Sunday win one of the wildest games that you'll see. We see K-State lose one of the wildest games that you'll see. Lots to dig into. As always, it is What's on Tap, brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company. They're now pouring the Buffalo Sweat Lager to support local wildlife here in Kansas. All right, let's dig in here. Prairie Fire Coffee brought to you, helping bring the show, helping power us along here as it was a late night. Speaking of late nights, we talked about the 9 o'clock tip on Saturday for K-State. How about a 10 o'clock tip for KU on Tuesday night against Colorado? Who's scheduling these games?
I don't know, man, but I'm too old for this. Like, after my Saturday, 2 Newman basketball games, had a blast with them. Shout out to voice of the Washburn Ichabods, Brendan Drzinski, coming to visit for that one. Had a blast. Come home, watch some NFL football. By the time that's all done, then K-State starts, and I am exhausted. But they finally were playing well enough that I couldn't turn the game off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I couldn't bail out. But of course, you get the worst ending of all time, fouling on a 3 to cost you a win, and essentially chucking up a half-court shot when you don't need to.
With 2 seconds
was just a terrible, terrible way to end that game. I just
that
if you're going to make me watch games like that, can we at least do it at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yeah. I tell people, like, I like all the local teams. Like, I'm wearing a KU beanie. The other day I wore a K-State shirt, so I don't want to hear anything about that if anybody's got anything to say about that. I like all the local teams. I root for them all. I love following all the storylines. K-State is in the spot now where it's like, if they won that game, it's like, all right, well, yeah, that's an okay win. You go down to Stillwater, and like it's not going to be moving the needle or anything like that to go get a win over Steve Lutz. And it's just like, man, like, it'd be a bigger deal if they lost this game than if they won this game. And as that thought is crossing my mind, it's like, they just fouled a 3-point shooter. Of course they fouled the 3-point shooter. Why wouldn't they foul the 3-point shooter? It's the way that K-State basketball has gone this year. Did you see, I'll give you a trivia, see if you're following up on all the reports here. Worst start in Big 12 history for K-State since when?
Oh, God.
Come on.
2006.
How about 1997?
Oh, God.
I believe that was the actual first year of the Big 12. It was the first year that it became the 12.
That's awful. That's really bad.
It's not a good start at all, and it makes a lot of people talk.
There's been some dark times in K-State basketball since then. I mean, good Lord.
It has. Jerome Tang, though, asked about it after the game. He said that he feels like they've still got time. They've still got time to figure things out. And man, they're gonna have to figure something out because it's not working right now. As we said last week, that you watch them play and you go into every single game thinking, I don't care what the spread is, I don't have any confidence that they can go win right now.
I agree with that, but I also it's this weird position that I'm also convinced that they could go and beat literally anybody. I think Jerome Tang said it a few weeks ago that they are good enough to beat anyone, but they're bad enough to lose to anybody, or not good enough to just get a free win, which I fully agree with. But I actually, as gross as this is going to sound, I feel more comfortable or confident in K-State after this loss than I have in a while, because they actually defended for a while. The frustrating thing is they allowed Oklahoma State to make one field goal over the last 4 minutes of the game, and they couldn't close out the win. The defense has been the huge issue for weeks, and the offense would go on its cold spells, and it would be a problem because the opponent would go on a 10-0 run and get the kill shot, right? Well, that didn't really happen a lot on Saturday night. K-State defended well enough to win the game, but they couldn't come up with the offense to bail themselves out when it really mattered. And the best offense they had was Cam McGriff laying the ball up off of they drive to the basket and just kind of hand it off to him at the last second. He dunk it, but he fouls out. And so you lose that option, and then K-State's offense dries up, and you're one bad foul away from a loss, and that's exactly what happened. But
there you go.
I think they're getting better. Now, you got to go win some games for people to start caring, but I think they're at least on the right track.
That's true. Who would have thought that we started the show with that after that big long list that I read you? We started with K-State basketball. Does that make us pessimists? That might. As I said, it's all what's on tap, brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company. Now pouring the brand new seasonal Bach Lager. Bach, cold beer. They'll give you a warm feeling. Bach Lager available at all three WBC brew pubs. East near Central and Woodlawn, west at 13th and Tyler, and at historic Delano, Wichita Brewing Company. We appreciate their support of the show. We will dig into Dylan Edwards, is now a Kansas Jayhawk. We'll talk about that after the break.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
310-1 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Staley is on KFH.
All right, welcome back in here on a Monday edition of Sports Daily. As I said, happy Martin Luther King Day, everybody. Let's dig in here. Chaos in the first segment there. I appreciate everybody barring with us a Monday morning. Everything wants to go slow on technology. The dog wants to go slow outside, but now we're here. We're rolling. I've got about half my coffee cup gone, so we're locked back in. And with that, we go straight to Dylan Edwards. The biggest news of the day yesterday, we kind of heard it that was maybe a possibility last week, I believe on Wednesday or Thursday. I believe Thursday, it said that KU might be interested in it. It seemed like they were going to be scheduling some visits. And then we see him in Allen Fieldhouse on Friday, and then it's kind of just sitting around and waiting of when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? Happens about 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. He posts on Instagram of making his commitment official to KU. Why is it such a big deal? It's because it's the first time a player has gone in the transfer portal and gone from K-State to KU since the transfer portal opened 8 years ago. Jackson, I will bring you this stat. I don't know if you saw this or not. I dug and dug and dug yesterday trying to find somebody that played for both KU and K-State, and if Dylan was going to be the first one that was doing that. But it's not. It happened. In 1928 and 1930, a man by the name of Bob Gump did it. Went to KU, played for a year, decided that he was going to go to veterinary school, unenrolled, enrolled at K-State, played a season of football over there to go to vet school while he played. So Bob Gump is officially the first letter winner to ever play at KU and K-State. Dylan would be the second, not the first. Transfer portal be damned. Bob Gump did it first.
That's insane.
It
First
is an
of all,
incredible story.
you were able to dig that up. I don't know how you found that, but I feel like you deserve some kind of an award for
Dude,
finding that information.
I dug, and I mean, I called the universities, like trying to figure out if somebody knew about this. And sure enough, at about 10 o'clock last night, our friends from KCTV texted me and said, "Hey, go look up Bob Gump in our system." And I was like, "No way, you have one?" And it's a story from the 90s, as Neil Jones, who's a legend in the KC sports world up there, did this story 30 years ago. Bob Gump died in 2003, talking to Bob Gump about being the first person to ever do it. And now it's like, wow, what a blast from the past to be relevant all of a sudden again.
That's insane, first of all, because like totally different transfer reasons, right?
Yeah.
Like
I was so hesitant. I really wanted to tweet out that Dylan will be the first player ever to play at both KU and K-State. And I'm like, I can't say it. I just know somebody's grandpa did it back in the day.
Yeah.
I know it. And sure enough, there it is.
But that said, like Dylan, it's such a good fit to me. Like I'm sure there's a ton of K-State fans that are listening to this right now that their skin is crawling because a K-State player has decided to go play for KU. And there's probably a fair amount of KU fans that have some crow to eat about some things they might have said this past fall about Dylan Edwards. But I think it's such a good fit at KU right now because of what KU needs. They need speed. They need someone versatile. They need someone that can help in special teams even and do all these little things that Dylan Edwards is so good at. And on top of that, he just gives you this option, this utility knife to go throw him out there anywhere and give him the ball a million ways. It's a player that KU just hasn't had for a while. And especially with getting Andy Kotelnicki back to call plays, like I don't see a whole lot where this could go badly. I think it's a great fit, a huge add for KU, and KU continues to add good pieces in the portal. But I'm starting to get a little excited about what the Jayhawks might look like this year. Now, they got to get that quarterback situation figured out. We'll see if this guy from Rice is any good. But Dylan Edwards to KU is a huge win for Jayhawk fans, for sure.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for KU fans for sure. I don't think that anybody anybody could have predicted that he was going to end up at KU when he went into the portal. You think about where his landing spots could have been. Coming out of Colorado, he probably had a pretty good list of suitors, I would imagine. He could have left after that Rate Bowl, had a pretty good list of suitors. I think that the way this last year went down, maybe the list wasn't quite what it would have been in those ones. But KU's a team that has history. Lance Leipold recruited him out of high school, obviously. And so to see there, if you're KU and realize that you've got a chance to get him, I think that if you have a chance to land him, you have a chance to get him. And that's a big deal. He's the first, he's the highest rated Kansas high school football product to ever play for KU once he plays. He'll be the highest rated ever. Devin Neal is the number one player in the state. Devin Neal was a 3-star. Dylan Edwards was a 4-star. He was a top 10 running back in the country out of high school. There's only ever been 4. This is a stat for you. I dug really deep in the archives yesterday. There has only ever been, if Dylan has signed, which he reportedly has signed, there's only ever been 3 4-star players from the state of Kansas to ever sign to play at KU. And it's Dylan Edwards now, Caden Snyder, Salina Central, and I don't even remember his name. Trayshawn Wrench, I believe, from Gardner Edgerton, was a 4-star in 2014, and he didn't academically qualify and never got on campus. And those are the only 4 stars ever. And 2 of them are playing at KU right now. So that's how big of a deal it is that they got Dylan Edwards in this one. You talk about the fit and everything is obviously a good one. But the biggest conversation that it makes this so interesting is obviously going from K-State to KU. And we brought it up last week. There's the Texas to Oklahoma that caused all the headlines and everything like that. This is a weird one, and because KU didn't exactly go steal Dylan Edwards from K-State, Dylan left the program. Dylan left with a month left in the season, actually, after the way last year ended up going. And so I don't know. It's not something to where it's like he's a snake. He was one of our best players, and he decided to leave us to go to KU. He wasn't on the team. That's the weird thing to me in this situation. I don't think that K-State fans, they've probably got a little, Dylan's a great player and he would obviously help K-State again next year as he helped them whenever he was healthy for that one game this past year. Like they weren't clamoring to bring Dylan Edwards back to K-State. And I don't think that causes, the weird grift between a player going from K-State to KU in this situation. It's still weird, but that's a part of it that people aren't talking about.
Yeah, it's definitely odd. And I think it's like, I feel kind of weird saying this because as I've mentioned on the show, like I'm a huge fan of Dylan Edwards. He's a great athlete. He's a good kid. Like he's from our area. So I don't want this to sound poorly, but like the way last year went in Manhattan, it felt like Dylan Edwards and his relationship with not only K-State as a team, but K-State as the fan base got torn. So it really didn't matter to me, or like in my perception of the situation where he ended up. K-State fans' opinions of him were going to be tarnished regardless, just because of how the year played out. Injuries or what have you that happened, like created that sort of issue. Obviously, him going to KU is not going to help that.
Yeah.
But I don't.
You're right.
I don't think
if he transferred to Cincinnati,
yeah,
he was going to get booed.
Yeah, I don't think this does anything to really change that, because it didn't matter. It didn't matter where he was going to end up. K-State fans were going to feel a little bit sour about how that all ended, and I think understandably so, just because he is such a talented athlete, and it stinks when you've got a player like that and it doesn't work out for whatever reason. But him going to KU, like, I don't think it's going to create any crazy animosity, because like you mentioned, it's not like KU tampered in the portal and said, hey, come over here to Lawrence, we'll help you pack and we'll get you set up here in a good situation. Dylan was gone already and probably fielding dozens of offers from different programs. But like I mentioned earlier, like Dylan has to know that this makes so much sense.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
KU has to know that it seems like it's going to work really, really well. And then you get that financial piece figured out and everything works out. And I'm sure it doesn't hurt to go watch KU win a basketball game in Fog Allen Fieldhouse.
It's true.
I don't care if you're a K-State fan, a KU fan. That's a great place, and it's a good recruiting pitch when you got that on your campus.
Again, we don't know the recruitment of him. I don't know who all reached out. I don't know what offers he had or anything like that. But I would have to imagine that, KU was near the top of the list, for him to commit and go to Lawrence. And so people have mixed opinions on this. Obviously, if you're a K-State fan, you feel one way. If you're a KU fan, you feel the other way. This is a big chunk of irony, I know, as I have a Jayhawk on my forehead right now. But as we are, impartial viewers from this, Jackson, I know you're from Lawrence and you were kind of a K-Stater. You like KU as well, being from Lawrence. I grew up a KU guy. As I do this job, I now am a KU and a K-State guy. As I said, I wore a K-State shirt on the show last week. So we can separate church and state here and view it from an impartial standpoint. Like for Dylan Edwards to, this sounds crazy to say out loud, kind of have the courage to be like, you know what? I am going to go to KU, like everything in your fiber that you're taught tells you that you can't do that, go from K-State to KU. But for him to realize and be like, you know what? Like they already kind of despise me over at K-State now. Like, let's go full heel turn. Like, why not? And it's the coolest, like, this is the coolest transfer portal story that we have covered since it opened 8 years ago, because nothing of this stature has happened in the state of Kansas except for, brought up Connor Frankamp. I don't even know if that was technically the portal back then. I think it was. I don't know. But that's such a cool thing for a kid from Wichita, Kansas to be. I looked it up. He's the 22nd highest rated recruit out of the state of Kansas ever. And he plays at both KU and K-State, and being the first one to transfer and be able to do that thing. Like, it takes some freaking, fill in the blank of what it takes to transfer from K-State to KU and embrace the villain role in college. I mean, he's a 20-year-old.
Well, like on top of that, right? So for example, you mentioned my upbringing. So I was raised in a K-State household in Lawrence, Kansas,
exactly,
which is just a weird position to be in the first place. But on top of that, like, I started school at Kansas Wesleyan, but when it was time to leave Kansas Wesleyan, I was trying to decide between K-State and KU, and I came to the decision I needed to go to Lawrence and finish school, go home, quote unquote. I had to tell my parents that, who both went to K-State and who were obviously rooting for me to go to K-State. Dylan Edwards kind of has that same situation. Yeah. His dad played at K-State and was a huge part of the turnaround under Bill Snyder. And that's the weirdest part to me, is like, it seemed like a family connection at first, but I'm sure, as any good parent probably will understand, like, the situation is entirely different for Dylan, and for him to go from K-State to KU is him making the best decision, as weird as it may be. But I'm curious what Leon thinks about this. Like, he again, huge part of K-State turnaround in the early 90s. I wonder what that decision was like for him to kind of come to grips with.
Yeah, you think about that situation as well. Back in 2022, his kid committed to K-State, and the video that went viral of Leon Edwards going nuts about, you want to play some good football, you come to Kansas State, and then Dylan decommitted a month later. Like, I imagine you're right on point of saying, like, listen, man, like, we understand whatever's best for you, it needs to happen here. Like, Dylan still wants to play in the NFL, and if you're playing Big 12 football and you play well, that's not out of the question. We saw a running back get drafted at a KU 2 years ago. Devin Neal did it. Like, not saying that Dylan and Devin Neal are the same kind of player at all. There's a big size difference, obviously, a big difference in their games. But as I said, Dylan was a top 10 running back in the country out of high school. And like, we've seen it click in a few games, and you're just like, wow. So like, if you can go to KU, and Andy Kotelnicki is the name that keeps getting brought up for good reason. If he can unlock something in Dylan, and he has a crazy good season as RB1 in Lawrence and can return a bunch of punts, like, I mean, it's not out of the question that the NFL can look and say, like, man, you're super fast, dude. Like, we could use you in special teams. We could use you as a gadget guy. I mean, look at Brashard Smith on the Chiefs. Like, they're the same player.
I was thinking of player comps, and like, I know they play like different positions, but DeAnthony Thomas, does that like check out for you? Like a smaller guy,
any fast small guy that you want to say, yeah.
And like, he didn't have like a Hall of Fame NFL career, but he was on the Chiefs roster for half a decade. And I mean, if you're a kid from Wichita, Kansas, and you spend a half a decade on an NFL roster because you're fast and you can make plays like that with the ball in your hand, I'd say you've done a pretty darn good job. You don't have to go and be, Gale Sayers to make a name for yourself out of this state, but like, get yourself an opportunity. And I think he chose a good spot that's going to give him a chance to highlight his abilities and have a chance to play at the next level. And he's got 2 years still to do it. So I think it's a great spot for him to be in. And for KU, it's a perfect place because you add a dynamic athlete with a ton of speed, and you are a team that's gone off back-to-back 5-7 seasons that have been very disappointing, especially when you consider opportunities to have been bowl eligible. Anytime you add a talent like this, you're going to be excited. And I think KU fans especially should be very excited about this ad.
Man, crazy story seeing it come to fruition. And you see Dylan Edwards wearing a KU jersey on Instagram, and it's like, man, like, could you imagine that in 2022 thinking about this stuff? The other part of the story, obviously, maybe the uglier part of the story, if you want to frame it in that light of, Dylan committed to K-State, decommitted, committed to Notre Dame, decommitted, went to Colorado, played, transferred to K-State, and now transferred to KU. So technically, if you want to say he's been committed to 5 schools now since his senior year of high school, that's the world of the transfer portal. Like, it's kind of an ugly world to think about that side of it, and it doesn't make you feel good. And I'm sure that if Dylan could go back and, say if he goes to KU and he plays great this year, I'm sure that Dylan would say, like, man, if I could go back and change it, I'd go to KU all 4 years. It's not out of the question that, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt that, things transpire. We gave him the benefit of the doubt when he left Colorado and came to K-State. And that's the thing, is that you got to hold it to the same standard, I think, if you want my, impartial opinion on this. Like, he goes to Colorado, you say the things that you want about him in high school. And again, he's a high schooler, you're a grown up.
Yeah. When it all boils down, like, it's a kid. He's a kid.
Exactly. whenever you're in high school, and it's a different story, and I'll play the other side of this as well. It's a different story once you're a college athlete and a millionaire, as I'm not sure what the financials are, but top 10 running back in the country. So you go all the high school stuff, whatever. High school kids, we didn't make up our minds in high school. Like, it's hard to make up your mind in high school where you're going to go. Then you go to Colorado, whatever happens there. You transfer to K-State, and like, it seems like everything that he's saying is that kind of like I stopped and realized like what's best for me, and like I need to come back to where I'm from and do this stuff. And it's just like, man, like maturity is there. Like give him his credit. Like, after all the circus that we saw, he came to K-State. Then things happen at K-State, and whatever. Like, if you're going to give him the same grace you gave him from Colorado to K-State, you have to give him the same grace from K-State to KU, and just say like, maybe it is something that went wrong there this past year, and something butted heads somewhere, and it just didn't work. And that's what the transfer portal's for. And if it didn't work, like as we're saying, KU didn't go into to Manhattan and steal Dylan Edwards away. Dylan Edwards left and was looking for a home. And KU took him. And so it's a crazy story start to finish. But again, we'll take this full circle. Not the first one to do it. Shout out to Bob Gump back in 1928. Holland, Kansas. You ever been there? You're a northern Kansas guy. Dickinson County.
You couldn't give me a million tries. I would have never known that was in Dickinson.
I didn't either. County. I saw Holland, Kansas, and that's got to be like west of Garden City. I have no idea. I know it's only about an hour away. I think his kids live in Wichita. If anybody's listening to the show, we'd love for you to call in. I want to talk about Bob Gump. He was an offensive lineman, 1928, 1930. Wild stuff. Dylan Edwards is a Jayhawk. Coming up after the break, let's dig into the NFL slate. We mentioned it briefly, but Bo Nix is hurt. What happened about that? We'll tell you about it coming up next.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
83-1001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Welcome back in. Sports Daily here on a Monday edition. We are talking NFL football. If you want to chime in, the KFH hotline is open. Our man Max Power is back manning the phone lines. 869-1240 if you'd like to chime in. Give us your thoughts on these NFL playoffs as we get ready to dig into those. You can comment on the YouTube stream. You can watch on X. Leave us a voice message on the Odyssey app. All different ways to get in touch with the show. And we appreciate everybody watching, however they may be watching here on a Monday edition of Sports Daily. Jackson, we briefly mentioned what the games were like on Saturday. On Sunday, the Saturday games were right there. Awesome as well. But I mean, the seismic news that everybody, I'm sure, is talking about on this Monday morning after watching football all weekend is you go in, it's like, man, the Broncos beat the Bills. What a crazy win. And then your phone buzzes and it says Bo Nix is out for the season. Bo Nix is out for the season. He just won him the game. What are you talking about? And as you dig, I mean, I was in like a black hole scrolling. Like, when did it happen? Was it on the kneel down? When did it was it on this play? When would it and I like listened to Sean Payton's press, and I don't even care. This is insane. Like, where do they go from here? What do they do? I mean, that is one of the biggest playoff news dumps in quite some time, injury-wise.
Oh, it's massive. But so I'm not a huge Bo Nix believer yet. I think he's fine. But like there have been some jokes on social media that like Jarrett Stidham might not be a big step back. I'm not here to play that game. Like this is a huge piece of the puzzle for the AFC Championship game. And regardless of how Jarrett Stidham plays, like I don't expect a lot out of him. It all rests now on the Broncos defense, which is a little bit beat up too. But like you go from two young quarterbacks with a point to prove and the exciting opportunity of Drake May and Bo Nix to now both defenses commanding the day in their games and making the plays when it mattered. Like such an interesting flip of the script of the storyline for the AFC Championship. And I'm kind of bummed that we don't get the Drake May versus Bo Nix first matchup, because I feel like they could both become very, very good for the future of the NFL. But the defensive matchups could be crazy too, because both of these defense forced 1 million turnovers in their wins. So who knows how this is going to go? Maybe the defenses will do all the scoring.
I'm with you. I think that it's, I'm growing on Bo Nix. He's shown me a lot, I believe, but he's not Peyton Manning. I think that's fair to say. I don't think we're talking anything about Bo Nix, but the Broncos aren't the 1 seed and in the AFC Championship because of their quarterback play. You're right. It's the defense that's so good, and that's how they've won games. The Broncos found a way to score 33 points in overtime this past week, and as we're saying, Bo Nix is a good enough quarterback to get the job done after what the defense has. But Bo Nix and Jarrett Stidham aren't the same player. Can Jarrett Stidham get his team 30 points if that's what it's going to require? The Patriots offense is good. Drake May is good. Like, that changes the whole thing, throws a big wrinkle into it, and by all accounts, it's going to be Jarrett Stidham. I mean, it wasn't even a hesitation from Sean Payton on the press conference afterwards, like just saying, like, this sucks, but Jarrett Stidham's going to get the job done. And that's where they're going. You remember Bo Nix's, I guess, rookie year. Yeah, Jarrett Stidham was slated to be the starter, and Bo Nix won the job, basically. So, like, this isn't, the perennial backup. There's not starting Jacoby Brissett, who even actually was a starter for a while. Whoever you want to throw, one of those guys from the Progressive ads. Backup listener, backup Nate, Tommy DeVito.
Josh
I love
Johnson or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Josh Johnson
for almost every team in the NFL.
Exactly. It's not that. It's a guy that could have started, a year ago, 2 years ago, and so that throws a big wrinkle in that game. New England is favored by 5.5, as DraftKings has it. It appears, but I mean, massive stuff. My first thought, as soon as I saw this, is, Phillip Rivers situation. Whenever that happened, I remember vividly watching a video of Tom Brady. Somebody asked him, they're like, could you do that? And he said, man, I could go in the league and still light up a defense. I can't do it for 20 weeks. I could do it for a couple. I'm like, man, can you do it for 2, Tom Brady? Could you imagine the Broncos calling Tom Brady to go play the Patriots in the AFC Championship?
I cannot, but I would love it. I would love that.
Honestly, I think if this happened a year ago, he would do it. And I really hope that Denver pondered it and maybe gave him a call.
Well, they've still got some time. I mean, a couple of days. He doesn't have to really get in there until what, like Wednesday, to have long enough to prepare. I mean, it's Tom Brady. He doesn't need to know the playbook. He's just going to go out there and rip it.
You're going to bring your own playbook. Tom Brady's going to show up on Wednesday with pamphlets. All right, guys, this is the Patriots playbook from 2014. We're going to throw everything out the window. This is what we're going to do. Okay, Sean Payton, you take a seat back. But I don't even know who their offensive coordinator is anymore. I made the joke of, there's a quarterback, the backup quarterback in the NFL that knows the playbook really well. Russell Wilson. How about we give him a call? He's still the highest paid player in the Broncos roster.
Broncos country.
Think we could get him to ask for a release from New York, come down? That'd be a crazy story. But it's going to be Jarrett Stidham. By all accounts, it seems it's going to be Jarrett Stidham in that game. So we're going to get Jarrett Stidham, Drake May, Sam Darnold, and Matt Stafford as your 4 quarterbacks in the conference championship games. Obviously the NFC side. Blowout on Saturday in that one, the first kind of real blowout of the playoffs. I guess you can say that.
So I wanted to talk about this with you because, like, 41-6 is terrible, but for a team like the Seahawks, like, there was a question going into that game on whether or not Sam Darnold would even play. Like, he was dealing with an oblique injury and a couple of other small things and didn't know exactly who was going to play quarterback. Like, they were talking about Drew Lock might give it a go and all that. But the way that the Seahawks were able to move the ball despite some of those questions, especially with, starting the game on a kickoff return for touchdown, like, isn't this such an interesting clash in styles? Because you talk about, like, the playoffs, it's typically quarterback play and slinging the ball all over the yard. But the Seahawks ran the ball really well, I thought. 175 rushing yards, and Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet are both really solid. Like, they seem to me like the one team that you could really count on if your quarterback went down, right? Like, am I crazy in thinking that? Like, if
No.
Sam Darnold were the one to have been injured for the year instead of Bo Nix, like, would your opinion of the Seahawks really change all that much? Because I don't think it would for me.
They'd probably get knocked down from like Super Bowl favorite, but would I say that they'd still probably be in the NFC Championship game if they're, to the hypothetical of Sam Darnold missed the entire playoffs after the regular season. Like, I think they could still get to the conference championship because of the way their defense plays, because of the way that they can run the ball. But in the same breath, their wide receiver room is pretty insane with Smith and Jigba and Cooper Kupp and the tight ends. Like, they're good enough, and that elevates Sam Darnold. Obviously, he was good in Minnesota, and that brings that into that. I don't think that Sam Darnold is, Sam Darnold wouldn't have been the best quarterback in the NFC Championship game list of quarterbacks. And so that's another question to follow, is what his health looks like. Obviously, he played on it this last week. Didn't have to do that much, as you're saying, of what the defense and the special teams did in that game. But
are you familiar with all the quarterbacks that were drafted in the 2018 NFL draft?
Yeah. That would be like the Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen. Is it that one?
Yep. Josh Allen,
Baker Mayfield,
Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Sam Darnold right now is in the driver's seat to be the first of those quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl. And if you would have told me that 2 years ago, I would have called the police.
That's incredible. Did you see the graphic that I think it was the NFL made, poking fun at the old mononucleosis graphic, where the old graphic that went viral of Sam Darnold, it was like out indefinitely, mononucleosis. They changed it and switched teams and said definitely end the NFC Championship game. It's like, oh, that's awesome. What a callback. I love that. Saw this one on social media this morning. I can't remember who posted it on X. The head coaches of the NFC and AFC Championship games, first name, Sean versus Mike, and Mike versus Sean. Incredible. It was written on the wall, people. Well, how did we not see this coming? So as we dig into this,
Sean versus Sean, or a Mike versus Mike, or is it going to be another Mike versus Sean?
Man, you take stats and probability in college, you can run that one out in one of those tables. Which one are you going to get? Mike, Sean, Mike, Sean, Mike. What's it going to be? About 25% chance it's going to be any of them, I believe, if I'm not mistaken on that.
Math guy.
Yeah, math guy. Mom's a math teacher growing up. I don't think that math is right, though, actually. I think that I think it's wrong. But, as we go into this one, more serious talk here. Broncos, Patriots, the 1 versus 2, and the Seahawks, Rams is 1 versus 5. Seahawks and Rams were the two teams that you kind of feel like are the Super Bowl favorites going into this thing. The Patriots kind of had a word in there. A lot of people talked about the Bills just because they are the Bills, but, you see them fall. So, as you go into this one, as I said, New England is favored by 5.5. Seattle favored by 2.5. Is it going to be Patriots versus Seahawks in the Super Bowl?
I think so. I don't really know. Like, the NFC, to me, that like the Seahawks Rams being a divisional matchup and two really good teams, and on one hand you've got a great defense and a team that can run the ball and a stellar receiver core and a question at quarterback. On the other hand, you have Matt Stafford, who I think has been one of the most consistent top-tier quarterbacks in the NFL for over 15 years now, I think, and has really been great. I'm personally rooting for Matt Stafford just because I love Matt Stafford. I think he's awesome. But I have no idea who's going to win that game. I feel extremely confident that the Patriots are going to win the AFC, but it's all going to come down to that NFC game. That, to me, is where the enjoyment's going to come. Championship weekend. I did see, though, going back to the AFC really quick, Patriots are what, 5.5 point favorites that you mentioned earlier? That is the largest number that a team has been favored in on the road in championship weekend, like, ever.
Yeah, I can
and it's only 5.5. That's one possession still, but that's the biggest road favorite in an championship weekend basically ever. I don't want to go as far as to say it's like all time, but it's been a very long time if I remember that tweet.
I saw somebody make the point yesterday, and they're 100% right. Primetime football at 5:30 p.m. rather than 7:30 p.m. is beautiful. Do you like that?
Take notes, Big 12 basketball.
No kidding. I feel like that's my biggest gripe of, Jacob will complain about whatever and Paul will complain about NIL. I'm going to complain about TV scheduling. Let's get the games going earlier. Nobody's saying that you can't start a basketball game at 4 p.m. Let's get these things going, all right? We have things to do.
I'm a huge fan of the 11 a.m. weekday games in the mid-major conferences. There's love
nothing,
that. Let's do
there's
more.
Nothing better. Nothing better than feast week, surely because they play basketball at 10 in the morning. Like, that's the cool. Like, there needs to be day baseball games every day. Like, the MLB, if they want to get people going, like, I need a game at noon every day. No, I don't care who's playing. I'll turn it on. Noon at every day.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
All right, that's NFL talk. We'll come back. College football national championship tonight. The Miami Hurricanes versus the Hoosiers in Hard Rock Stadium. We'll break it down for you.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
83-1001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas fan headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily.
Welcome back into Sports Daily. We just talked some NFL. Let's get into the college football national championship tonight. We'll talk a little shockers coming up in the next segment. A little bit more K-State, a little KUs. We saw them roll on Friday and kind of look ahead to the upcoming week as it is officially Sunflower Showdown week, by the way. It's all What's on Tap brought to you by Wichita Brewing Company, now featuring chili for a medium time. Hearty beef, no bean chili, perfect for lunch, and now available all 3 WBC locations, East, West, and Delano. Wichita Brewing Company, pizza and beer and chili made here. Are you a bean in your chili guy? Or are you a no bean chili guy? I think
I'm a bean in the chili guy. For sure.
Jacob is too, but Jacob's from Texas. Texas style chili is no bean chili. I'm definitely a no bean chili guy.
It's just meat soup. You need something in there.
You don't like meat soup? What's wrong with meat and soup? I like meat soup.
I need something else. I need a little substance.
I don't hate it. I can go back and forth. Just like I'm a KU and a K-State fan, I can go no bean and bean chili. All right, it's possible to do both. People, open your minds a little bit. I can go on to a 2-hour rant about people who are haters of both KU and K-State for whatever, the whole thing. They're both in your home state. You can like them both. I understand rivalries and everything, but you can cheer for both. It's better when they're both good. Anyways, speaking of college football national championship tonight, we get Kurt Signetti versus Mario Cristobal, Miami versus Indiana, and Indiana is by all accounts the heavy favorite to win this game. The national championship game. The Indiana Hoosiers are heavy favorites to win the national championship game. It's incredible that they are so good, but they are 8.5-point favorites, and they're a wagon.
First question, is it too late to reconsider my pick for this game?
Yes. But make your point. 2,
I am increasingly convinced that we're actually going to get a really good ball game. And at first, it was no question, you take Indiana. I think they're going to blow this team out. Like, they're just heads and shoulders better than everyone else. But the longer I have to sit around and wait for this game and think about it, the more I talk myself into Miami being good enough, because they are solid up front on both offense and defense. They've got plenty of talented playmakers. Like, I'm talking myself into Miami covering this surprisingly large spread.
I know. That's the thing, is that, like, it's a weird, conundrum that sports books are in, probably, because the entire country is going to bet Indiana, even if they were 20-point favorites. One, because they're a cover machine and they beat the absolute brakes off of teams whenever they beat them. And two, the entire country is probably rooting for Indiana tonight. Like, we've talked about that on the show a lot, of who should we be rooting for the best interest of us. And, you can make the case that if Miami wins, it's good for the Big 12, obviously, because it's not a Big 10 or SEC team. But can you find a way to not root for Kurt Cignetti and Fernando Mendoza? They're America's sweethearts. Like, that's the part of this as well. So for the sports books, like, they have to put a big number out, because people are they're gonna get killed if Miami wins by 20 tonight. And like, they probably will. Like, it's not out of the question that they will. But like, you're right that Miami is a wagon as well. They've got one of the better defensive fronts that we've seen. Like, we've seen what they've do to all these teams. They're a physical football team. To Paul Savage's point, they're the most physical football team in the 12-team playoff, probably. Like, realistically, this should probably be like a pick'em, but it's such a liability. It can't be.
It's such an like that's why, like, if you're listening and you don't really maybe gamble on sports all that much, you're wondering, why the line is the way it is. TJ just explained it. It's because if you put it as like just picking the winner, sports books would lose every month. Every dollar they had, all these nice buildings and casinos would crumble because the general public would take all their money from an Indiana win. That's why they have to move this line to 8.5. I don't think, because of that, like, that's part of what's convincing me that Miami is going to compete in this game, because I don't think Indiana is truly like 8.5, 9 points better than Miami. I think that you're looking probably more at like 3 points, like that at most.
I agree. Indiana should be the favorite. Indiana shouldn't be the 9-point favorite. But as we're saying, is that it's such a liability, because everybody and their sister is going to have juice on India. If you have a sports book account, there is a good chance you are putting money on the Indiana Hoosiers tonight, just because you want to see it happen. Everybody's rooting for them, and that's the thing of, like, you see these Chiefs lines. Like, we talked about that with our betting insider PJ Glasser earlier in the football season. A lot of the Chiefs were skidding like no other, and they were favored every week. Why were they favored every week? Because the whole country kept betting on the Chiefs. Like, every week, well, the Chiefs, they're going to figure it out. Like, I don't care if they're playing the Broncos, who are the division leaders right now. The Chiefs will figure it out. It's the Chiefs. We're going to bet on the Chiefs. So that's why they were favored every game, is because the sports book just kept making money off of it. So, yeah, we'll favor them. Sure, I don't care. So, yeah, I do think we are in store for an actually good game. But in the same breath, I mean, are we going to be shocked if Indiana wins this thing 45-7? Like, I wouldn't be at all.
I would not be shocked. I really would prefer that not happen.
I agree.
It seems quite rare that we actually get a national championship game that is a good game. I mean, last year it wasn't a terrible blowout. It wasn't the Georgia beating TCU 65-7. But it wasn't really all that close either. Like, it's the last game of the season. You want something to enjoy and to savor football and to really kind of just satisfy you for what's going to be 9 long months without college football. Like, I need something good. Give me something to get excited about, even though this game is also going to be unnecessarily late at night and take forever. Because they'll tell you that it's going to start at 7, and so you tune in at 7 o'clock. They're not going to kick off until at least 7:45, because they've got the pregame show and this pregame show and this guy's pregame interview, and here's the national anthem and God Bless America and all this. Like, if we're kicked off by 7:45, I would consider that a win. But then you got to have all these commercial breaks and the longer halftime, because there's a halftime show. We're going to be watching college football until at least 11 o'clock at night. And if it's a blowout, I'm not going to be enjoying that. I'm just not.
I agree. Back to my TV guide griping. The other part of this argument that I keep throwing out here, why are college basketball games slated 2 hours apart? They never last 2 hours. They're always go heavy, and you always miss the first 10 minutes of the next game, and it drives me bonkers. That's a whole other thing, too. Kurt Cignetti yesterday at National Championship Media Day, quote, I think there's a lot of pro-Indiana hype, a lot of rat poison. I did see Holly Rowe's social media piece, ... There was a lot of sentimentalism. I think it's time to throw that out. You don't go to war with warm milk and cookies. I love Kurt Cignetti.
I love this guy.
He's incredible.
I think I sent you another one where he was asked like what it would mean if Indiana were to win a national championship. Like the reporter obviously trying to get a quote about like the significance of the turnaround, but Kurt Cignetti, the guy he is, just says, well, it would mean we won the national championship. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what a ridiculous question.
It's incredible. It's incredible, his personality. What did he say after the last one? I'm thinking about going home and cracking open a beer, and just sat there and chomped his gum. He said, yep, be a pretty good movie, huh? Yep. I don't know. It's insane. It brings up the question, but you being a K-State family, your family being a bunch of K-Staters, the story, I know Blair Kirchhoff just did one for the Kansas City Star about the Bill Snyder versus Kurt Cignetti argument that is now making the rounds of, Indiana was one of the worst football programs of all time. I think the worst football program of all time. And back in the 90s, K-State had an argument. They were the worst one ever. Bill Snyder did a lot of work to that, got them to a point where they were at one point the number one team in the country. They haven't gotten to that point of the national championship. If there was a 12-team playoff throw this time, there's an argument they could have been. But that wasn't.
Well, they were a play away or a game away at minimum on multiple occasions. But
that's right.
I digress. I will it's an interesting discussion, but I think you got to acknowledge that it's apples to oranges because of the eras of college football right now. I think it's fair to say that in terms of like the traditional college football, like old fashioned model, Bill Snyder, without question, created the greatest turnaround ever.
Yeah.
But in today's landscape, I would be shocked if you saw something this stark of a turnaround ever again, but it's unquestionably easier because you can overhaul your entire roster overnight, essentially, and that's what Kurt Cignetti did. And to his credit, that's not an easy accomplishment to do that as quickly as he did, to entirely overhaul and build a roster. And yes, players are paid, but it's not like Indiana's out there dropping more money than anybody else. They're paying the right players and utilizing them in proper ways. So to me, that's impressive in its own right. But the thing that I would like to see in the future is whether or not Kurt Cignetti has created a roadmap for other downtrodden programs to fix it and fix it fast. Because if you can do it in Indiana, you can literally do it anywhere.
Yeah, it's true. I would say Bill Snyder probably had a harder turnaround than he did. But, if Kurt Cignetti can go in 2 years going from irrelevant to national champion, that may have the argument of, the best turnaround maybe in that breath. Article here on ESPN. They won't be the first 16-0 team to do it. North Dakota State did it at the FCS label, but the 1894 Yale Bulldogs did it back in the day. I love these kind of stories. All right, we're out of time. Coming back, we're up against it. We'll talk a little Shockers. We'll be back.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
31001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Is Sports Daily on KFH.
All right, welcome back in. Jackson, I don't know if you've seen this social media post making the rounds of Carson Beck at National Championship Media Day yesterday, going very viral of somebody asking him how classes are going this week. And he said, I graduated 2 years ago. I'm not taking classes. Out of context, of course he's not taking classes. The semester ended a month ago. We've been done with classes for a month. He's not taking spring classes. He's 26 and he's going to the NFL. People are taking that way out of it. The next sentence he said was saying that, yeah, I took a semester this past year, but I'm not degree seeking, so I'm not going to take classes in the spring. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm just playing football right now. Obviously. Like, of course he is. Like, that's not a story. Next point. Back to the Shockers. Let's talk some college basketball. The Shockers this past week, we talked on Friday after they got blown out at Florida Atlantic, and they went into Sunday's game as a 7.5-point underdog. They go to South Florida in Tampa. They led 30-15 about 9 minutes into this game. all accounts looking really good. You think that they're going to have a good bounce back. Then they gave up a 36-8 run. I've never even seen anything like that. They gave up a 36-8 run. All of a sudden, they find themselves down 13 points after leading by 15. And I'm talking immediately after. It wasn't a couple minutes later. They go up 15. Boom. They rounded off about 20 straight, 36-8 run. They're down by 13. They claw back. They go on a 7-0 run late at the end of regulation. They force overtime, get there. Kenyon Giles gets a steal with 20 seconds left in the game, makes the game-winning bucket, basically, and the Shockers win it 86-85. Again, 7.5-point underdogs. South Florida's a team that's going to finish near the top half of the league. Jackson, you talked about it on Friday, that they had a chance to bounce back in a big way. This is part of that, and now they go into a game on Wednesday that they'll be favored in against East Carolina. That's I don't want to say a statement, but it's a big deal.
It's a huge win, and while it was an unorthodox path to get there, like, it doesn't matter how you get there so long as you get there and you get the win. They come out of an extremely tough road trip 1-1, and that's all you can ask for. Like, the best teams protect their home court at a high clip and go 500 on the road. Like, really good teams can do that. Like, and obviously anything better is house money, but like, to go on that trip, like, I think we were expecting, after especially the way the FAU game went, to go 0-2 on that road trip, but to come away with a win out of that, you now put yourself in a position to build and to win. And as you mentioned, they're going to be a fairly heavy favorite, I would say, over East Carolina in a couple of days. You win that, all of a sudden you've won back-to-back games. You've got your swagger back a little bit. You get a chance to really go on a run against teams like Memphis, and you get Tulane later and Temple, like all these teams that are supposed to be in the top portion of the American. You're going to start facing for a second time in the near future, and you're going to be trying to build some momentum. And I think that a win like this in that type of resilient fashion is a huge, huge boost for this team. Like, obviously you don't want to give up a 36-8 run, right? Like, you'd like to avoid that, I would imagine. But the fact that you got up by 15 points early can give you confidence that you can start quick. But then coming back from down 13 in the second half should give you confidence that there's really no deficit you can't overcome. Like, this is a good win on almost every account. The only thing better would have been getting up 15 and staying up 15 or more the whole time. But you take what you can get, you move on.
You can spin it either way that you want to. By the way, programming note for those of you that didn't notice, Paul Mills did not join us today. Shockers had some travel logistical issues getting back to Kansas late last night. So Paul Mills may have actually slept past 4 a.m. We're going to let him catch up a little bit after a late night flight last night. No Paul Mills with us this morning. We'll hear from him later this week at his weekly availabilities. We'll hear from him after Wednesday night's game against East Carolina, obviously, as well. This is the game, Jackson. This is what we kind of referenced, and the point that we bring up about their struggles is that, like, no matter what they do, you still feel good about them every week, or every game going into whoever they're going to play. This is a game. They're underdogs by 7.5 points. Like, they were only 3.5-point underdogs to Florida Atlantic on Thursday. Obviously a blowout kind of goes into that betting line the next time around. But I mean, to go out and get a win against the team that you kind of was slated to go 4-2 in conference play or whatever they were, South Florida near the top there. It's one that helps you a lot. It's one that makes the Charlotte loss and the Rice loss maybe sting a little more too in the same breath of this thing. Is that if you want to have a chance to go compete at a title run, those are going to loom a little bit. We talked about that Chiefs-Jaguars loss of looming and sticking around in your mouth for a while. Like, that's one. Those are two, that are going to be there, because the Shockers should be 5-1 right now. Like, Florida Atlantic was a tough game. If Florida Atlantic played the way that they're going to play, you don't really have a chance in that game. 5-1 would feel really good right now, and that would be the top of the league, basically. I don't think there's any undefeateds left in the American Conference.
No, yeah, you'd be tied for first with FAU.
Exactly.
You won those games, but even though they are now 3-3, like, everything is still in front of them. Like you get Memphis, who's 4-1. You get a crack at Charlotte, who, because you blew a ball game there, is at the top of the conference as well. You get them a second time. You get Tulsa in the very near future, Tulane. You start to play Temple, and again, you still have opportunities against East Carolina and teams in the bottom portion of the league too. Like everything Wichita State wants to achieve is still very much on the table.
Yeah, and this is a big week for that. That we talked about is that they, should win on Wednesday against East Carolina. If they lose on Wednesday against East Carolina, then it's an entire other conversation that we're going to have about dropping games that you need to win, which they've had troubles with that in the past. So don't chalk it up as an easy win, I guess. But by all accounts, East Carolina is 0-5 in league play. Then it takes you to Memphis on Saturday. And that's it. We saw them take one against Memphis last year. If you can find a way to go 2-0 this week, find yourself at 5-3. I mean, guys, we keep talking about it. This American Conference is not very good this year. Like, it sucks that they started the way that they started, but they're not out of it by any accounts. Comment here on YouTube from the name I'm not going to pronounce. It looks like Simon in the middle there, I think. Wichita State going to play to the level of their competition? So they'll play great versus good teams and be in dogfights against teams that they shouldn't be. Simon, if that's your name, that's the story that we've seen the past 3 years for Wichita State. You're 100% right. They play down to teams, and then they play great against the K-States, against the Memphises. I don't think they've gotten blown out by Memphis once since Paul Mills has been there. And Memphis has been a top 25 team. They have taken them to the wire in every single one of those games. And so that kind of just tells you what they are against good teams, against bad teams. And it makes you hold your breath whenever they play East Carolina on Wednesday, to my point that I was just making there. So they drop the silly ones is the best way to say it. And that's the part about Wichita State that just the best way to put this is they find ways to just reel you back in, and you're like, wait a minute, hold on. They just made 16 threes against Loyola Chicago. They just won a big one on the road at Northern Iowa. This could be the year. Nope, they blew an 18-point lead at Charlotte and lost in overtime. Like that's perfectly said.
I'd have to go back and look. You said something that stuck with me, because you're right about them having played like teams like Memphis specifically very close most of the time. But I have this memory. I want to say it was 2 seasons ago of Memphis coming here to the Roundhouse, and it was like -5.
Oh yeah.
And I think they set some kind of record for most threes made in a game or whatever.
Right.
But regardless,
that was the Naquan Tomlin team.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Thank you. But that's just my ADHD brain. Like, think outside of that, yes, they play good teams close. But how would you, if you were Paul Mills, put on your Paul Mills cap, since we don't have him today? How do you try to coach a team out of that type of habit? Like, how do you try to get them out of playing down or playing up and just playing Wichita?
You're asking the question that K-State fans have been wondering for decades. They find a way to beat KU every year, but golly, can you just go beat West Virginia? Like, are we asking too much here? I agree. It's impossible, and part of it is the fact that you're coaching 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds out there. It's tough. It's tough. Whatever you're playing, the good teams, you want to play well, and that's kind of what it boils down to, evidently, in the end of this thing. But like the thing about this Wichita State team specifically is that they are just so, what's the word I want to say? Susceptible. I think I missaid that, to giving up runs. And you just gave them a 36-8 run, obviously, in this game. But like, they lost to Rice because they started off in a hole and they gave up a run early. They lost to Charlotte because they were up big and gave up a huge run to Charlotte. Like, you just have to find a way to just punch back a little bit, and that's the one thing. And that'll fix that problem. That'll fix the other problem. That'll fix the reason that they lost to Florida Atlantic, and I understand how, layman's term I sound right now of saying, like, just stop the other team from scoring so many points. Yeah, but like, that's why they lose these games. They lose these games because they give up the 12-0 runs, the 20-2 runs. Like, find a way to limit those, and that's just grinding down on defense. That's, Paul Mills, a Paul Millsism that he always talks about is that turnovers are like putting, gasoline on a fire for teams that are going on runs. And you just have to find a ways to play, smart brand of basketball, and that'll help with those issues. And so that's my Paul Mills hat from talking to Paul Mills for the last 3 years. He would say something about turning the ball over, I would have to imagine.
We got to give a shout out to Rick. He's breaking some news for us.
I saw. Yeah. I was waiting to bring this up.
Buffalo Bills firing head coach Sean McDermott after 9 seasons. He won the AFC East for 5 straight years, from 2020 to 2024. But because of the lack of playoff wins, I think that's the main reason. What I think I just saw, they popped it up on ESPN. Shout out ESPN for giving me notes on this. But was 8-8 in the playoffs, and of course the loss to Denver on Saturday is the most recent. But does that surprise you, TJ? Because it surprises me.
I think so. I mean, at some point, though, I mean, that's the argument that we've talked about, is if they lost that game, what's it going to turn into? And this wasn't a very good Bills team this year in all accounts compared to past Bills teams. And so there was something to be said about that. But, like, I don't know, man. Like, winning a Super Bowl is hard. Like,
winning in general is hard.
It takes a lot of luck to do that. And I feel like we're getting dangerously close to the NFL becoming the college level standard here. With firings like this. This is a LSU, Brian Kelly, that's his name. This is a Brian Kelly-esque firing to me, I think. A James Franklin, if you will. Like, you're in the AFC Championship just about every single year, and you fire your coach. Like, that was the argument that Jacob and I had. The Bills are good because of Josh Allen. Like, Sean McDermott's good. They made the playoffs without Josh Allen, is the point that Jacob pushed back on. But the Bills are as good as Josh Allen is going to lead the Bills to be. And, like, they might get a little bit of a bump if they can get a better head coach than Sean McDermott. But listen, like, this is the biggest argument biggest takeaway from this happening on January 19th is that John Harbaugh and Kevin Stefanski were the two big fish, and they're gone. Who are they going to get? They're going to hire Mike Tomlin? Who are you going to go get?
That's always the thing, is like, if not him, then who? Right?
I know.
Like,
I say this every time that a coach gets fired. It's the Family Guy skit. Trade in the boat for the magic box. It could be anything. It could even be a boat.
The mystery box could be anything. You're absolutely right. But I'm not a mystery box guy. I'm not a coaches fired guy unless it's absolutely warranted. And I don't think this is particularly warranted. I completely understand Buffalo fans and maybe the Bills organization being frustrated at their position right now, because they have been, without question, good enough to win Super Bowls over the last several years, and they just haven't gotten it done.
Oh my God.
You're taking a chance on some coach that, like, who knows who it's going to be. You don't know if they're going to have a track record of success. You don't know if they're going to be able to maintain the situation in Buffalo. Like, they've been extremely beat up and injured this year. You don't know if, Josh Allen is going to mesh well with your new head coach. Like, that's a huge issue. You have to get the right guy to keep your quarterback happy. But, like, I just don't get it. You're good enough every single time. It's so hard to win Super Bowls.
I know. The weird part about this, and like
their Super Bowl, they lost in the wild card round.
The weird part about these kind of firings, and we've seen these before, whoever you want to bring up about not being able to get it done in the playoffs. You see this in the NBA a lot more than you do the other sports. But, like, the NFL firings of this stature are different than the college firings of this stature. The James Franklin thing is still crazy. Maybe not the best example. The Brian Kelly thing, we'll start there. Like, if you want to fire your college coach, like, I mean, it's kind of more warranted because the coaches build the teams. Like, the coaches are in charge of bringing the players there. Sean McDermott isn't in charge of building the roster that they have there. And at the end of the day, wins are wins, whether they come in the regular season or the playoffs. And I understand that's not what you want to hear as a fan of especially if you're a Bills fan. You want to win Super Bowls and you want to do whatever you can do to win a Super Bowl. But, like, you can't judge a coach based on his playoff wins and, like, just exclude the regular season wins. Like, winning games is winning games. Like, I understand playoff record is the thing, but it doesn't change. Like, he's not playing quarterback. Am I wrong for thinking that?
No, not at all. And on top of that, like, they're firing him after being like, what were they, the 6th seed? Is that right? They go on the road and they beat what turned out to be a pretty dang good Jaguars team on the road. And then they go on the road, they turn the ball over like 5 times.
Yeah, exactly.
Star quarterback starts handing the Denver Broncos the game, and then you have to dig yourself out of that hole. They get it all the way to overtime, and because of a freak interception play that happens, you end up losing on a field.
You want to play a slippery slope. How about
and that's why you're going to fire your coach. Punching above your, like, in terms of seeding, they punched above their weight class in a huge way.
I agree. It was a disappointing year for Buffalo by Buffalo standards, 100%. You want to play a slippery slope if-then argument here? How about this? Josh Allen, if he does not fumble at the end of the first half and the Broncos don't get a free field goal there, Sean McDermott's still the head coach of Buffalo.
Probably. I mean,
you're not going to fire him after the AFC Championship.
Yeah. If he squib kicked in that 13-second game, he'd still be the coach.
That's a great point, Max.
Because that would have took 5-6 seconds off on his. And I don't understand why he can't squib kick anymore.
It's true. Yeah, it's one squib kick, he'd still be the coach. I don't. I mean,
I bet you Rex Ryan's going to be going. I'm going to be coach of Buffalo again.
Man, we talk about. Marcus Freeman is the name that gets brought up, as a lot of people want to get Marcus Freeman in there. We've now had 2 press conferences in South Bend of him saying, I'm not going to leave. Now we're about to have a third, because I guarantee they're going to call him, who's the big fish anymore? We'll have that conversation coming up after the break. I don't want to dig into that too far, because now we're going to try to navigate these waters. Who is Buffalo going to hire? Is Matt Nagy going to be the new head coach of the Buffalo Bills? Golly, could you imagine? I can't imagine. We'll be right back on Sports.
No, I'm gonna have to think about this, because I was not expecting this morning.
I know. We had a show planned out. I'm sorry, Wildcat fans. We can't talk Cats basketball. I apologize. We'll talk NFL football after the
break. Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
83-1001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
All right, everybody. Sean McDermott is fired from Buffalo. We're going to navigate the waters trying to get you through all this stuff. Crazy coaching carousel. Is this the craziest one that you can ever remember? I mean, we have John Harbaugh, Sean McDermott, Kevin Stefanski, like 12 openings. Marcus Freeman is in the mix every single job that we talk about. People want Kurt Cignetti, 62-year-old Kurt Cignetti hired. Man, what's Chris Kleiman up to? Does he want to coach in the NFL? Somebody needs to coach. I don't think he'll do that.
I mean, if Mike Tomlin gets fired, it already becomes the crazy, because I just never thought that would really happen, because he was one of the consistent figures in NFL coaching. But this year doesn't surprise me anymore. Like, everything that has happened has been so wild that you just kind of aren't surprised. And that's kind of my gut reaction to Sean McDermott getting fired, because he is the he's the second winningest head coach in Buffalo Bills history, only behind Marv Levy. But he has a better winning percentage than Marv Levy by 50 points, essentially. Like, he won a higher clip of games in a shorter amount of time than the best coach the Buffalo Bills have ever had, and they fired him. He was 98-50 in 9 seasons. That's a winning percentage of .662, basically 2 out of every 3. And that's extremely hard to do, especially in Buffalo, and you're going to fire that guy. I don't understand.
Know, man. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I get it, like, but I also, I don't know. I get it of the frustrations that they've had and everything like that. Is it going to help? I don't know, but I guess at the end of the day, you need a scapegoat, and that's what it turns out to be. This is like the baseball team firing the hitting coach whenever they can't hit the ball. What's the hitting coach doing? You know what I mean? This is Aaron Torres, Fox Sports Radio host, said this is our last 5 playoff trips. 2022, they blew a fourth quarter lead at Kansas City. That's the 13-second game, correct? 2022. 2023, blown out by Cincinnati at home. 2024, they blow a fourth quarter lead versus KC. 2025, they blew a fourth quarter lead at Kansas City. And 2026, they blow a fourth quarter lead at Denver. And the question that he poses, Aaron Torres, how many more years of Josh Allen's prime will Buffalo let Sean McDermott waste as they can't win these playoff games? Do you push back on that? I feel like you do.
I do have some pushback on that because you're talking about it's the freaking Buffalo Bills. Sean McDermott in 9 seasons had 8 winning seasons with the Bills. He won 10 or more games 7 times. And this is a franchise that just has, outside of a 4-year stretch where they lost in the Super Bowl every single year, like, what have they done? Like, that my entire life up until the last several years, the Buffalo Bills were what the Jets are right now. That's how I perceived the Buffalo Bills for most of my childhood and my teenage years up until recently. But the coach that has helped to get you to a point where you are a perennial Super Bowl contender or AFC title game contender, you're going to fire? I don't get it.
I don't know.
I don't understand.
I feel like I guess I get it in the fact of, like, he's a defensive coach, and, you know, the defense is the one that's kind of losing these games for Josh Allen, it feels like, you know, like what we saw yesterday.
I'm not allowing that. They turned the ball over 5 times.
Oh, yeah, it's true. You're right.
And they lost by 3 in overtime.
It's true. Yesterday was, I mean, Saturday's game was not, but it historically in those 5 last years, I'm saying, if that's what you want to say about that. But I mean, I'm looking at this, you know, since 2020, he won 13 games, 11 games, 13 games, 11 games, 13 games, in 12 games. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's not a college coach. Like, and that's the other part of this too, is that, like, but in the same breath of the fact that it's not a college coach, you're making the argument there about, like, it's the Buffalo Bills. It's not, you know, it's not the University of Buffalo where the odds are stacked against you. You know, that's the devil's advocate here, is that I understand it's a small market team and everything like that, and you're not the Los Angeles Rams or Miami or whatever you want to say about those type of things. But, like, it's the NFL and you have an MVP on your team, you can make the argument that, you know, we should have been here. But again,
the MVP on your team is the one that cost you the game.
I know, and I'm
coach got fired because their best player.
I know that's the.
And I love Josh Allen. I am a huge Josh Allen fan. But
yes.
this he has got to take some heat. The NFL tweeted on Saturday night videos of Josh Allen post game with the caption, "You just gotta feel for Josh Allen."
Yeah, I know. That's something.
What other quarterback are they going to post stuff like that for when losing? When the reason that team lost is because of the guy they're posting about.
I know. And
the Bills didn't punt. Did you know that they didn't punt a single time?
Oh, really?
Against the Broncos, and they lost.
Gave it to him. They just gave it to him 5 times instead.
Yes. And who was the guy? And I'll even give him a pass. That last interception that ultimately cost them the game. Plenty of questions there. Totally understand.
You can make a slippery slope about that. If that was ruled a catch, he's still the head coach.
This team made, specifically Josh Allen, that also cost them the game. He also had a wide open Dalton Kincaid for a touchdown at the end of regulation, overshot him. They had to kick a field goal and go to overtime. Like, there needs to be pressure on Josh Allen just as much as there's been pressure and now a firing on Sean McDermott.
It sucks. It was a bad Josh Allen game, but I think that everybody would tell you that you'd still, if you're building a team, you'd take Josh Allen in the top, 4 picks of whatever that draft would be. But like it's one game, and that sucks that it's the last taste in your mouth. I don't know why I keep saying that, of what it is here is the fact that like Josh Allen turned the ball over 5 times and the head coach got fired. Not because of it, but that was the final straw of the game that turned him into doing that. But like, that's one of the games. And if you want to be the argument of the people that are making these decisions, and I'm with you, Jackson, I'm playing devil's advocate here. Like they've underperformed in the playoffs. And I guess that is when they matter. And that's whenever everything happens. But I don't know. I want to make a case, but I think that firing your good head coach just for the chance to hire a head coach that might be better of the guy that's won double-digit games the last 5 years is just a tough ask for me. And I don't know.
And it would be much different. Like, for example, if the Bills were coming off of this season that the Chiefs had, like if the Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen and Sean McDermott as their head coach fall apart and win 6 games, whatever the Chiefs, I forget what the Chiefs record even ended up being. I've tried to push that so far out of my mind. But if they had this kind of season that the Chiefs just had, and you fire Sean McDermott, I get it. You can't allow that kind of a season with Josh Allen right now, especially when you haven't crested the mountain yet. But if you're a team that is still continually in the conversation,
I know. It's the Mike Tomlin argument times 10 is the best way to think about this. The Steelers have the argument every year about, man, we win the division, or we're right there in the division, and we make the playoffs and we win 9 games and we get eliminated in the first round. And it's just like, should you fire Mike Tomlin? It's like, I don't know. You're in the playoffs every year. You've never had a losing record. Like, is that not good enough? And that's the thing. That argument times 10 is that, and it's so stupid, and I don't want to bring this up, but like Michael Jordan, LeBron argument. Is it better to lose in the finals than to not make the finals at all? Of course it is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, it can't be held against you that you lose in the AFC Championship game, I think, right?
And that's another, like, Sean McDermott is being punished for losing in the playoffs on the road after having won a road game in the playoff. Like, he literally had to go on the road for 3 games to do what Patrick Mahomes did a couple of years ago to get to the Super Bowl. They had to accomplish that tough feat to save his job, is what this is telling me. And I think that's ridiculous, because if you have a team that, like, just they had maybe 1 bad loss this regular season, and that cost them a few seed lines. So you have to go to Jacksonville. You win that game. You go to Denver, who is the 1 seed, and you had every opportunity to win that game, but you fall just short. That tells me you're good enough to get to the Super Bowl. And just because you didn't this one time, because you turned the ball over so much, you're going to lose your job. That's insane to me. Because literally Josh Allen holds onto the ball one time versus that fumble you mentioned, or because he fumbled it twice that they lost.
I think so.
A couple of
2 or 3 times.
Like, one of those goes your way, and you're in the AFC Championship. One time.
I just don't know who you're going to go get. That's the biggest thing. And like, even if you can make this argument, if you can go get John Harbaugh, I think, or Stefanski. But now it's like, that changes my landscape. If I'm the GM, it changed my landscape on this 100%. Is like, man, like, who's the best option? Like, if you want Mike Tomlin, you got to go trade for Mike Tomlin. He's still under contract. Like, that's the thing too. You can't go hire him. You're going to try to sway Marcus Freeman away from Notre Dame? Are you going to give him a college coach contract and pay him $70 million and give him a giant buyout? Like, it's going to take a lot to sway him away from that. That's the other part of the Marcus Freeman conversation people talk about. Are you going to hire a coordinator that's never been a head coach before to coach Josh Allen after you just fired a guy that loses in the AFC Championship every single year? Like, I don't know who is good enough to take that job.
Hear me out. Lane Kiffin.
Oh boy, gosh! Could you imagine if Lane Kiffin didn't?
Was over.
Think about this. If Lane Kiffin didn't take the LSU job, he would have gotten an NFL job. How about that?
Probably.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like 12 openings. Oh my gosh. John Gruden, is he in the mix?
Probably not.
Everybody.
He's going to try. He's been trying to get college coaching jobs, but now there's all these
I bet somebody's going to call him.
I'm guaranteeing you he'll get some phone calls. Whether or not he actually gets hired, I really doubt.
That's the thing about the
calls.
I bring this up to Jacob is that the trend of the NFL right now is hiring retreads. Everybody wants to hire a coach that has been a head coach before, regardless of how it went the last time. Like Matt Nagy, regardless of how it went the last time, and you had a good year. I'm not going to dog on Matt Nagy, but like regardless of how it went the last time, coaches want coaches that have been head coaches before. Whether that be your head coach at one place and then you bounce to the next place, or whether that be that you were a head coach and then fell back to a coordinator and then you become a head coach again. That's what coaches want to do. And now this is the most we've seen a lot of firings. This year feels like the most that we've seen, like the high stature firings, like the Ravens and the Steelers and the Bills and all these. Like we're not talking about the Titans, Raiders, blank, whoever you want to say, all these bad teams. Like these are teams that you're going to go join and you will be a favorite to win your division. We'll say that.
Absolutely. And I think some of these coaches like John Harbaugh that's already made one decision may reconsider, because the most
I know that contract signed yet. There was some legal
quarterback situation of any job is now in Buffalo. So if it's not too late, maybe he'll go.
I don't know. I heard there was some legal ramifications holding it up there. I don't think that contract signed yet. That'd be a real situation. Transfer portal be damned. Coaching carousel's crazier. We got a little more Sports Daily. We'll be right back.